excuse me, question in around what have you learned from the process of doing your research or this research? So in response to this, so one of the things that have been learned from the process, if you will, is that whilst papers or the portfolio have been developed, or different publications have been formed in collaboration in amongst experts and sort of both patients and professionals, the process in aspects of collaborating in amongst the different publications, different publications and the sort of in around the different durations. The process itself has been somewhat arduous, and one of the lessons learned from the process is that the thinking in around some of the works in some regard could have been developed or co-developed, where there was more insight or more understanding from collaborators, where they would where different authors or collaborators look to take on more responsibility in around per publication or per output. But at the same time, there has also been the development in around the inner workings, if you like, of the RPSG itself, the RPSG social media platform, and it's through the learning of the in around the process. It was a process where for example, it was a process wherein the work was developed, or the RPSG platform, for example, had been developed from a scientific basis, and to develop works from a scientific basis, or aspects pertaining to a scientific basis, or evidence-based sort of an evidence-based perspective. It is where the thinking required a sort of a scientific insight, and that through this process has been challenging, because not all authors or co-authors had the same sort of sense of enthusiasm or motivation to develop or co-develop a platform for healthcare service users, because more often than not, healthcare colleagues or co-authors, authors and co-authors and etc. Had time constraints, and also had their enthusiasm and motivations in around other aspects of healthcare. So from the process, these were some of the things that were that have been learned, and in some ways are learned in a way wherein the thinking in some regard was similar to that of colleagues of colleagues, or those who I would consider colleagues from sort of more retrospective durations or periods.